Okay. Someone take a paper and locate for that. So, when did you do this? Sunday? Sunday? Last lecture was Sunday. Onwards we have entered into, it seems like I'm running one of those courses where we meet once a week, and then you have to tell what you did last time, what you will do next, and so on and so forth. Okay, but those courses you pay. Still you are paying, but you get the idea. You pay separately, huge course, and so even if you meet after 2 weeks or 1 month, you still remember. Your money doesn't let you forget what you did. Okay, but here in this case, you have to make an effort. Okay, so we started this topic, which is about volume studies. Okay, in volume studies, what we covered was 4 basic parameters: volume, rate of flow, demand, and capacity. Okay, volume, the actual number of vehicles you have going in a unit time, and that unit time can be hour or day. Flow rate, you have taken flow for less than 1 hour, you convert it to hourly rate, flow rate of flow. Demand, how many people want to travel on the highway? Demand. Okay, and capacity, the maximum capacity of the highway. Capacity is fixed. Demand changes, volume and flow rate. When demand goes up and down, that causes the volume to go up and down, or the flow rate to go up and down. And then we looked at some graphs where the volume was changing in different days and different weeks and different times on different highways and so on and so forth. So there were some graphs which I showed you, but the main point was volume or the demand changes so much that I need to use some technology to manage traffic. If I try to do it manually, it will become impossible because the change is so rapid. Every minute it is changing. If I try to do it manually, there were still people in the exam who were asking for more than 1.5 hours, right? So imagine those people go into a traffic control center, try to manage traffic manually. What will happen? Okay, so we are using technologies now to manage traffic, or we are going towards that point, and those technologies are known as ITS, Intelligent Transportation Systems, signal control systems, vehicle guidance systems. These are all part of ITS. These are the graphs I was talking about. This is one of the graphs I didn't talk about, but more or less the same thing. Different types of highways, a graph for each graph for different type of highways, and you can see different days as well and so on. Some more graphs. Okay. Now in chapter 3, chapter 4 was what? I forgot. What was chapter 4? Chapter 3 was traffic flow. Chapter 4 was traffic data. So in 3 and 4 both, we have talked about volume. We have done some examples, calculated peak hour factor, length of queue. We did all these things. So we know volume studies are relatively easy. Vehicles are coming, you count them. Vehicles are coming, you count them. They are passing in front of you, you count them. Relatively easy. When you are doing it on a highway. What I asked you to do for the term projects. Okay, so I will stand, and any vehicle which passes me, I will count it. Okay, but intersection volume studies are slightly complicated. Okay, why? The first reason for complication: different directions. I am no longer looking at vehicles which are just going. I have to look at where they are going. Okay, on a highway, it passes. The highway is coming from, for example, Salmabad to Manama, for example. Vehicle pass is going from Islamabad to Manama, that's it. For an intersection, it may come from the same direction. One of them is going towards Manama, the other one is going towards Hill, the other one is going towards so on and so forth. You get the idea. So the first problem with intersection is different directions. Okay. Then if you now imagine you are standing on an intersection, I'm asking you to count number of vehicles. All vehicles which are coming from this side, you count them. Some of them are turning right, some of them are going straight, some of them are turning left, and you are counting all of them. And they are coming fast. Obviously, when the signal is open, or when they have the chance, they will go fast. Okay, and they will go together. You do not stop them. No, stop. I'm counting this vehicle. After that, you will come. They're not standing on a causeway, right? So they are going in different directions, and you are the one who's counting it. Imagine how difficult is your job if all vehicles are going in different directions simultaneously. I cannot count. I cannot stop the vehicles, but I can do what? I want an accurate count, right? If I ask one person to do all these counting in different directions, obviously he will make mistakes, he or she. He or she will make mistakes. They will miss some cars, they will miss some vehicles, they will not count them. You are putting one on the right hand side, and the cars have already gone straight on the left hand side. You will miss some vehicles. So what do I do? You can record, yeah. You can use technology. Okay, good. What else? More than one observer. Okay, one observer each direction. Even when you record, okay, put the camera. But then what do I do with the video? Same thing, right? Somebody has to sit in front of the video and count them. So video will reduce your field work, but when it comes to counting, it's still the same. He will do it. Want it like this. Anyways, you get the idea? So we have different directions, so we need more people. The first thing. Secondly, you can use technology, yes, for sure. So we need more people to make sure that it is convenient for them to count and it is accurate. If you are just counting one direction, it is easy for you, and there are less chances you will miss the vehicles. Okay. Secondly, make sure are you done? Okay. Make sure that the observer is standing at the correct place from where he can count his direction. You want him to count vehicles turning left. So they are coming from this direction and they are turning left. And he is standing on this side of the road, the right hand side. So obviously, a big bus comes and his vision is blocked if he is standing on the side. So either he can be standing on the median. If there's a pedestrian bridge, maybe he can stand on the pedestrian bridge. In some cases, we have signals, and around the signal you see a post or something. A curb, you can stand on that curb. You see the policemen are standing there. Okay. So you have to make sure that each observer is positioned according to what he is counting. Okay. Again, this is related to convenience and accuracy. I'm asking you to count this. You should be close to that direction. Okay. Otherwise, you will miss, and it will be difficult for you to observe. Okay. Then how many movements can I give to one observer? We already said that if you give more movements, it becomes problematic and it will have errors, more errors. Okay. So in some cases, movements have very low volume. There is a road which has low volume as compared to the other road. So I may assign one observer to that road. Okay, because the volume is so low that he can still manage counting 2 or 3 directions at a time. He can still do it, he or she. Okay. So it depends upon the volume. So if the observer, and also the other thing, it depends upon the experience of the observer. somebody who is new, we had this experience, we did one traffic study in Pakistan. So for the first time, for the, you can say, orientation or training or test session, they didn't know what to do. Like after 2 minutes, they were telling us the cars are going so fast. What I am supposed to do? This is what they told us. Okay, so this happens. An inexperienced observer will get nervous. He will not know what to do, how to keep the things. You have to change the paper and the pen. If you are using a counter, how to use it. Sometimes you will, click on the wrong button and so on and so forth. Okay, so the experience of the observer is again something which can affect the count. Okay, so if the observer is inexperienced, either give him one heavy direction. Heavy means having high volume, or give him 2 directions at most which have very low. If the observer is inexperienced. If the observer is experienced, he may take 2 heavy directions. He can. I'm not saying he should, but he can. He can manage. Okay. So, yeah, and something else which we have talked about earlier as well. These 2 points we have already talked about. First of all, multiple lanes in the same direction. What do we do? There was an example in chapter lecture 4. If you have multiple lanes going in the same direction, so there are 3 lanes going straight. All of them are going straight. So even if I give one direction to this observer, okay, just count people who are going straight. He will be counting from 3 lanes, right? So again, vehicles are going simultaneously from all 3 lanes. You can miss something, right? So what do we do? No. What do we ask the observer to do? He will observe what now? Vehicle going from. To reduce error, what do we do? There are multiple lanes in the same direction. What do we ask the observer to do? Observe from one lane at a time. There was an example. The missing values were because he was observing one lane at a time. Okay. So if you have multiple lanes, it's a good approach to give the observer one lane at a time, even if they are in the same direction. Okay. Again, it will reduce your error. And the second thing, what we already talked about, we give them short and alternating breaks. We can give them short breaks. We talked about 2 types of breaks, right? 15 minutes period, within 15 minutes, 2 minutes break. Or you can have a break alternate. 15 minutes counting, 15 minutes break. Okay, so again, these things also apply to this counting study as well. If there is a traffic jam on the road, on a highway, there is a traffic jam. So vehicles are stopped, they are in the queue. This means what? Traffic jam means what? Demand and capacity. Which one is higher? Demand is higher. Demand is higher. So the vehicles which are passing from the road, if somebody goes in a traffic jam condition and he observes the volume, the maximum volume he can observe is equal to what? Capacity. It will not go over capacity, right? Even if the demand is over capacity, it will not go over capacity. Right? So, on a highway, it's very easy to see when the demand is over capacity, when there is a traffic jam. Vehicles are stopped, they are moving, they have a queue and so on. But what about an intersection? After every few seconds, there will be a queue because vehicles are coming from the other direction. Okay. Signal is red, vehicles will stop. There will be a queue. Does it mean a traffic jam? After every 50 seconds, there is a traffic jam. No. So first problem is, how do I know there is a traffic jam? Because when there is a traffic jam, the volume is not equal to demand. You said that, right? When there is a traffic jam, the volume is not equal to demand. The maximum volume can be equal to capacity, and the demand is over capacity. Okay. So first of all, on an intersection, how should I know there is a traffic jam? I cannot just say vehicles are stopped, traffic jam. No, this is not the case. So, 2 cases. To see if the traffic is jammed or not, we have two cases. One case is for a signal. How do I know that traffic on a signal is over capacity? So they have given us one condition which we already talked about in delay studies as well. We already talked about the condition. You come to the intersection, red phase, that time, signal becomes green, and you cannot leave. Okay, you are still waiting for the next signal to become green. This is an indication traffic is over the capacity of signal. If you see vehicles, the queue is so long that the vehicles at the end of the queue cannot pass in the next green. That means signal is over capacity. Okay, so the volume is not the demand. In second cases, when there is no signal, there is no green phase, there is no red phase. Right? Then we simply count the length of the queue, number of vehicles in the queue, multiple times. For example, we did for delay studies of have an interval 10 seconds, 20 seconds. So after every few seconds or after every few minutes, you see how many vehicles are in the queue. If generally the queue keeps on increasing, so I counted now, there are 4 vehicles in the queue. I count after 2 minutes, 6 vehicles in the queue. I count after 2 minutes, and there are 8 vehicles in the queue. So you see the queue is always increasing. This is again indication demand is over capacity. Okay. So on intersection, 2 cases. If there is a signal and the vehicles at the end of the queue cannot go in the green phase, demand is over capacity. If there is no signal, just see if the queue is increasing or decreasing consistently. Obviously, 1 or 2 times the queue may be higher or lower, but consistently, what is happening generally? Okay, so every time you count, there are few vehicles more in the queue. That means demand is over capacity. This condition, what we call as traffic jam, we are calling it unstable queue buildup. Unstable queue buildup. Why unstable? Because the queue is increasing. So this is unstable, right? If the queue keeps on increasing and increasing, so now there are 10 vehicles, then there are 20 vehicles, then there are 30 vehicles. This is unstable, right? The whole road will be blocked. Okay, so this is why unstable queue build. Okay, they call it unstable queue build. So, and these are the indications for it. Now, what happens when we have traffic jam? We said when there is queue build up or when there is traffic jam, volume is not equal to demand, right? Because demand is higher than the capacity. So how do I know the actual demand for the road in this condition? How do I know the actual demand for the road? Now, normally when there is no traffic jam, what do we do? How many vehicles passed? Say there are 100 vehicles passed. This is the volume and this is the demand. 100 vehicles came, they passed. 100 was the demand, 100 is the volume. Simple. But when demand is over capacity, 200 vehicles will come. Capacity is 100. So out of 200, how many will pass? 100. Is the demand 100? No, demand is 200. So I should not count how many vehicles are passing. I should count how many vehicles are coming. This is what they are calling as arrival and departure volume. Arrival, how many vehicles are coming. Departure, how many vehicles are going. If there is no traffic jam, arrival and departure are same. If there is a traffic jam, which one is higher? Arrival is higher, departure is lower. But the actual demand is what? Arrival or departure? Arrival. So how do I know the arrival? Now so I count. Vehicles come, I count. But we said what? It's an unstable queue. So where do I count? The queue keeps on getting longer and longer. If you are counting counting departure, it's very easy. Stand at the intersection. When the vehicle will pass me, I will count departure, right? Easy. When it will depart, I will count. There's only one point from where it can go, right? The stop line. But what about arrival? Right now the queue is here. Right now the queue is here, but it's an unstable queue. So after a few minutes, it will be to that wall. After a few minutes, it will be 100 meters more. So you see my point of observation is changing. Right now vehicles are coming here because the queue is up till here. After 2 minutes, the queue will be up till here. So I should go there for counting. And then after 5 minutes, the queue will be 100 meters more. So I should go 100 meters more to keep on counting. Okay. So you see the point where the vehicles are arriving is changing because of the queue. Okay. Now what happens? Queue is increasing, but not always. At some point the signal will become green, right? So queue will also move forward. So I was counting here. Now I'm already 1 kilometer from the intersection. It happens. It can go up to 1 kilometer, no problem with that. So you are already 1 kilometer from the intersection. The signal became green. Now the queue is moving. The queue has already moved. When the next time signal becomes red, the queue is there 500 meters away. So you are standing here, and now you have to count the vehicles which are going to that point. And again after a few minutes, the queue will come here. Okay, so you see the queue is dynamic. It keeps on shifting. Okay, so the point where the vehicles are coming is not fixed. You get my point? What is the problem with arrival? The point at which you have to count the vehicles is sometimes here, sometimes further back, and sometimes forward. Okay, so if you have to count, you should move as well, right? It's good for health. Have a kabba and then do this, and then after a few hours have another kabba, right? Why not? Why not? Okay. So, but there's a problem, right? Some people don't have one. Okay. But when you have, you will like it. Right? Okay. So the problem is I need to calculate arrival volume. If I try to observe it, it's too difficult. And believe me, even sensors and cameras don't work here, because all of them again have a fixed observation point. If I use a camera has a fixed frame. If the queue is more than that, it will not come. If I use a sensor is at a point. If the queue is more than that, it will not come. Okay. So what we do, we calculate arrival volume. We don't observe, we calculate. Same thing we did with density. We said density observation is very difficult. So we will calculate. Same thing here. We will calculate. Arrival volume, VA. I is indicating the time interval. You remember we did it for 15 minutes interval, right? Yeah. So I is 1 15 minutes interval. Right now. Present 15 minutes interval. What am I asking? VDI. What is VD? Departure volume. Counting departure volume is easy. From the stop line. You stand at the stop line and count how many vehicles are departing. Easy, right? You can do it any condition. Okay. So VD, observe. Okay. NQI. NQ means number of vehicles in the queue. Okay. So I want volume for these 15 minutes. 15 minutes right now. What's the time? 10:25. So I need, for example, the arrival flow between 10:15 and 10:30. Arrival flow between 10:15 and 10:30. So I is what? 10:15 to 10:30. Okay. So I'm trying to calculate VAI. How many vehicles came between 10:15 and 10:30? What will I count? VDI. How many vehicles left between 10:15 and 10:30? Okay. What is NQI? How many vehicles are in the queue at 10:30? So we said what? Queue is moving, right? I cannot do it continuously. So I will count it only one time at the end. How many vehicles in the queue? At the end. At 10:30. So what was happening at 10:15, 10:16, 10:20, I don't bother. For the queue, I don't bother. I just count when it was 10:30. So I finished VDI. I counted how many vehicles left. Counting done. Now I'll count how many vehicles are in the queue. One time. Okay. And what is NQI minus 1? NQ is number of vehicles. Number of vehicles where? In the queue, right? In the queue. And I minus 1 means what? What was I? Time interval. I minus 1? The last interval. So if I'm talking about 10:15 to 10:30, so this is 10 to 10:15. I minus 1 is 10 to 10:15. Got it? Okay. Let me show you an example. They did a study from 4 to 6, 2 hours. 15 minutes interval. For each 15 minutes interval, they were counting departure, VD. So they were stopping, standing at the stop line, counting how many vehicles left. First 15 minutes, 50 vehicles left. Second 15 minutes, 55 vehicles left, and so on. Then they were also counting how many vehicles in the queue at the end. Like I said, this is not continuous, this is just the end count. Third column is just the end count. So 0. So does this mean that during this whole time there was no queue? No, there may have been a queue at 4 p.m. There may have been a queue at 4 or 5 p.m. I didn't count it. I counted when? 4:15 only. At 4:15 there were 0 vehicles. Okay. At 4:30 again 0 vehicles. At 4:45 5 vehicles. Got it? Yeah? And so on. Now, in the last column, I am calculating arrival volume. Now, the first two values are very easy. How many vehicles left? First value, 50 vehicles left. How many vehicles in the queue? 0. So, how many came? 50 came. And all of them left. Queue, right? No queue, so that means all of them. Right? Third value. So I'm telling you the logic. So even if you don't remember the equation or you don't know how to use it, it's just simple logic. Plus minus this and this, simple logic. Okay. Between this interval, 62 vehicles left. Okay. Did I have any queue before? No queue before. So 62 vehicles left. All of them must have arrived in the same time, right? Because before there was nobody in the queue. So all 62 arrived in this time interval. Okay. So 62 arrived in this time interval and they left. And then you see there are 5 vehicles in the queue as well. When did they come? There was nobody before, right? So all 5 of them also came in this time. So 62 who left, they also arrived. And 5 which are in the queue, they also arrived at the same time. So 62 plus 5, total arrived how many? 67. Okay. So what is VDI? 62. What is NQI? 5. 62 plus 5. What is NQI minus 1? 0. 62 plus 5 minus 0. 67. Okay. 4:45 to 5. How many vehicles arrived? Sorry, how many vehicles left? 65. 65. Did all of them come in the same time interval? We don't know. Because there were already 5 vehicles in the queue before. So maybe some of them have also left with 65. Okay. At the end, how many vehicles are total in the queue now? 10. So 65 left and 10 in the queue. So 65 left, 10 in the queue. Total 65 plus 10, 75. Out of 75, how many are previous? 5. So 75 minus 5, 7. How many came? 7. Right? So again, if you use the equation, VDI 10, oh sorry, 65. NQI 10. Q now. NQI minus 1, 5. The previous 70. Got it? Okay. One last thing. Now you come here. 62 left. Nobody in the queue. So does this mean 62 came? 62 arrived? No, because there was already a queue. So maybe in these 62, there's somebody from the previous queue. Okay. So now there is no queue. That means all of them left. So the previous queue also left. 62 left. Out of 62, 5 were already there. So how many came now? 62 minus 5. Got it? Again, if you apply the equation, 62 plus 0 minus 1. Same answer. Got it? There? Any questions? Okay, now you see the last values, there is no queue. There is no queue. So if you do the summation of arrival and departure, it should be equal. Again, we did a couple of examples earlier where this happened. If there is no queue in the end, arrival becomes equals to departure. The delay example. Some special points, some extra points for doing the counting at signals. Right, at signals we have an advantage. We have a benefit because of the signal itself. The signal will do what? It will stop some cars, right? It will stop some directions and allow one direction to go. Okay, so my work becomes easier because at one time only one direction is going, so my work becomes easy. Okay, but on the signal we have another extra. So this is the advantage. You can have less observers and still have an accurate count because the vehicles are not moving at the same time. Okay, without a signal they can go randomly. Okay, so signal helps me with that. Now the problem with the signal is the cycle length. What is the signal cycle? From start to end of what? The timing. When you complete all the red and the green and the yellow everything, that is one cycle. Okay. Now cycle length is, let's suppose, 100 seconds. Let's say cycle length is 100 seconds. Now they are saying your counting period must be a multiple of cycle length. Okay. So for example, I have a cycle length of 100 seconds. Can my counting period be 5 minutes? 5 minutes is how many seconds? 60 to 5, how many? 300. So can I do that? 100 second cycle length. Total counting 300 seconds. Multiple, right? No problem. Okay. Yeah. And for example, if the cycle length is 60 seconds, okay, then again you need a multiple of 60 then. Yeah. The cycle length is 90, for example. 90 seconds. Can I do the counting for 5 minutes? Why not? Okay. 5 minutes is how many seconds? 300. And my cycle length is what? 90 seconds. So 90 is, 300 is not a multiple of 90. So whatever counting period you are choosing must be a multiple of cycle length. You should know the cycle length in advance and choose a counting period which is multiple of cycle. Now with the counting period there is a problem because of the breaks. You say my counting period is half an hour, 30 minutes, but within 30 minutes there is a break of 5 minutes. Your counting period is how many? 25 minutes. So your actual counting period should also be a multiple of cycle length. Total counting period and then total counting minus break, both should be a multiple of cycle length. Okay. So total counting period is what? 30 minutes. 30 minutes must be a multiple of cycle length. You take the break out for 5 minutes. So your actual counting period is what? 25. 25 should also be a multiple of cycle length. Okay. Counting period with break and without break should be a multiple of cycle length. Okay. Why? I am counting. Okay. For example, take the example of 90 seconds. 90 second cycle length, 5 minutes counting period. In 5 minutes, how many times a cycle will complete? In 5 minutes, how many cycles will I have of 90 seconds? Tell me. 300 upon 90, how many? 3.33. Now what does it mean? 3 cycles complete. 3 cycles complete. And 0.33 what? 1/3 of the 4th cycle, right? Now what will happen in this 1/3? It's a signal, remember? So signal does what? It will block one direction, allow the other. So it has, for example, 4 directions. In 1/3 cycle length, 0.33 cycle length, it allows 2 directions. Other 2 directions are stop. Now when you see the count, what will happen? Those 2 directions had extra green time, right? They had 3 times green and then the 4th time as well. But the other sections had only 3 times green. So which volume will be higher? The one which had extra green. Yeah? So that's why we are saying make it a multiple of cycle length. So every direction will have equal number of green times. So if you take multiple of 90, 4 times 90 is what? 4 times 90 is 450 seconds. Huh? Oh, I know. 360. 360 seconds. Okay. So you take 360 seconds of counting. What will happen in 360 seconds? You have 4 complete cycles. So every direction will have green time how many times? 4 times. Okay. So equal distribution. So they say multiple of cycle length for equal distribution of time. Now this some signals don't have fixed cycle length. They have sensors. Now what is the function of sensor in the signal? If the volume is higher, the signal timing should be higher. So cycle length is not constant. Now I start the study, volume is low, cycle length is less. I am doing the study for 1 hour. After half an hour, the volume increased. Cycle length increased. So multiple of what? This cycle length or that cycle length? So they say, they call these as actuated signals. Actuated are what? Signals with sensors. Signals are operated with sensors. Okay, we call them actuated. Okay, and what do we do in this case? Multiple of maximum cycle length. And who tells the maximum cycle length? The person who programmed the signal. If the volume keeps on increasing, the cycle length will go up to a certain limit. After that, it will not go higher because that is impractical. Okay. So, for example, you allow the signal to go wherever it wants. The volume keeps on increasing. The cycle length is 10 minutes. 10 minutes means what? If the green time is gone, the next green will come after 10 minutes, right? People will go crazy. I am stopped here for 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, still there is a traffic jam. So I will move maybe 20 feet and then again wait for 10 minutes. That's why you put a maximum cycle length. the programmer. If you go to the person who programmed the signal, he will tell you, I put the maximum limit as 120 seconds. So you select the counting as multiple of 120. The actual cycle length is whatever it is. I don't bother about it. I don't consider it. I only consider what? The maximums. This is for what? Actuated signals, not for every signal. If the signal has fixed cycle length, you take that. If it doesn't, take the maximum. Now the same problem will come with it, right? I'm taking maximum, but the actual is less than that. So maybe some of the cycle will not be completed. So what will happen? Some directions will have more green, right? This is the problem. But in actuated signals, what happens? Which direction will have more green? Because it's a sensor, right? So by default, the signal will give which direction more green, which has more volume. So if a direction has more green in my counting, it has actually more volume as well. So this is not a problem. For actuated signal, the signal is adjusting itself. So I don't have to worry about it. Because the sensor, the signal is already adjusting its timing. So if a direction has more green, it has more volume as well. I don't mind. But fixed cycle length, then you have to be a multiple of cycle length, and all directions should have equal green. Okay, clear? Okay. So I'll just go through these pictures. These are different ways of showing intersection volumes. Okay, this is one of the ways. It's very easy, right? Number is showing the count, and the lines are showing the direction. How many vehicles here? 450. From where did they come? 30 from here, 375 from here, and 10 from here. Okay. How many vehicles I have here? 750. Where are they going? 30 are taking a right turn, 670 going straight, and 50 taking a left turn. Easy, right? The way of representing it. Again, you see the number and you see the lines, right? Lines are showing the direction, number is showing the count. Now, but you see, now they are using different symbols. This is an arrowhead. Where is the arrow going? This direction. So where are these vehicles going? This direction. Now this is an arrow tail, right? So it's going in the opposite direction. So this 979 vehicles are going this direction. And how they are divided? You can see the number on the lines. 979 coming. Where are they going? 266 right turn. 5540 straight. 173 left turn. Okay, so it's a bit more congested than the previous diagram, but this is how it works. Another thing is the size of these symbols. It's according to the volume. Size is according to the volume. So you see, this has 7,000 something. Less. Width is less. Another one, 8,000. You compare this with this, the width is more. Why? Because of the volume. So if a direction has more volume, we make it wider. Representation by Ministry of Works in Bahrain. And as alhamdulillah, everything in Bahrain, this is also very easy. Right? You see the highway names? For which hours the volume is taken? You can see the hours written here. These are normally considered the peak hours. One in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. Okay. You can see the numbers. Color is showing different hours. So blue is showing this hour, 6:30 to 7:30. Which one is it? Orange, right? What do you call it? Orange or pink? Orange. Okay. So orange one is showing this hour. And then we have the green one, which is showing this hour. The date, the time, the intersection ID, This is intersection ID. Okay, and so on. The name of the intersection and the movements, the numbers in the box, how much count, and the direction is shown with the arrow. So 142 were going right turn in the morning hour. How many? 300 something. Okay, 300 something going right in the afternoon, and again 300 something going right in the evening. Okay, so numbers are in the boxes, and the boxes are attached with the arrow to show the direction. You can see the U-turn as well. Okay, both on this side. Clear? Any questions? Everything clear? Okay, so we will cover in the quiz till this. Okay, till this lecture. Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Lecture 3 we did not cover the complete one. In quiz 1 we did not complete. Did not cover completely.
All theory.
All theory. Like quiz 1. Like quiz 1.
And final of the question.
No. Final is okay. I know you will do bad in final whatever I do. So I just give you nice give you some hope. So don't kill yourself before now. Okay. So this is for the quiz. Okay. Now as I said, now the next one more thing. If you now the next days you can actually see variation in traffic every day. Friday traffic will not be same as Saturday. Saturday will not be same as Sunday, because things will open one by one. Okay, till Tuesday, Wednesday, everything will be open. But it's the first day of after a long break, so traffic will not be same. First day after the break, not same. Next day is last day of the week again. So traffic is again not same. Weekends, obviously it's a weekend. Maybe traffic again. Friday traffic is different than Saturday. So from tomorrow, even from today. From today till the 1st of May. So I will say 2nd of May. From tomorrow or from today till 2nd of May. If you can go to any highway, any road for 5 minutes, same time, every day, you will see a different pattern for traffic. You must be seeing this guy is crazy. Why would we go to a highway during our break? Enough problems at our homes. Anyways, if you do it, you can actually see. Okay. So yeah. So we'll meet on Thursday, right? We'll meet on Thursday. Okay. And then we'll meet on Sunday, and then we'll have another break, and we'll meet on Tuesday. Okay. And then we'll have another break, and then we'll meet on Thursday again. But we have what? When's the quiz? 30th is what? 30th is Sunday, right? It is Sunday. So we'll meet on Thursday, and then we meet on Tuesday. Next Tuesday, after the quiz, 2nd of May. Okay. What I will do is what we cover on Thursday. So up till this, you will obviously read it for the quiz. Okay. And for your benefit, I'm announcing from now what we did today. There will be definitely some questions from it in the quiz. What we did today specifically. Okay? Got it? So there will be some questions from today's lecture in the quiz. Okay? Others, obviously others will be there, but some questions from today's lecture as well. What we cover on Thursday and what we cover on Tuesday, I will give you some practice questions from it. Okay? And whatever I give you, not from this lecture, whatever I give you as practice, there will be something from it definitely. So if I give you 10 questions, maybe all 10 of them will not come in the exam. At least some of them will come in the final exam. Okay. So the practice questions from Thursday's lecture, I will give you when we cover the lecture. And the practice questions from the 2nd of May lecture. Okay, there will be some practice questions, you do it. Okay, so at least you will have some part of the final exam. And final exam, there's no shuffling, right? Everybody is getting the same questions. Okay, Clear? Who didn't sign? Who didn't put their names?
The truth will be